right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series. I am thrilled today to have Miss Myiesha Majors here with me. She's one, a luxury realtor, two, the host of the American Dream TV. She is also a newly podcast host, Black Voices in Real Estate. Myiesha, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I want to hop right into your world first of real estate and just hear how you got to be into this world of real estate. What caught your attention? What started your love for real estate?
Back long, long ago.
Okay.
When I first started working in banking, I was working in banking for several years, like 15, 16 years. And I got on the side of banking of loss mitigation when the market started to crash
Wow.
and I was in it before it crashed, but we saw the crash coming.
Yeah.
So the bank started just like loading, like people loading, just hiring, hiring, hiring. And I was one of those people who got hired in. And, at first I was helping the loss mitigation team with compiling like all of the data and information needed to consider short sales for people at the time. And so eventually, I was intrigued and I was like, I think I can do this. And I got promoted a few different times to different positions. And I eventually was basically selling real estate for the bank on the bank's behalf by way of the short sale process. I had to negotiate terms, had to negotiate, price point. We had to get appraisals on the property. If the people were in foreclosure, we had to monitor that. Like it was a lot involved. And so what would happen is as the market improved, they would start laying people off. Then I jumped to another bank. So then I was at another bank. I was helping with modifications. And when the Obama modifications came out and they were trying to save everybody's home,
Yeah.
I was a part of that group and that team of trying to help people save their home or sell it if they couldn't save it. And so from all of that, as the market improves and has its ebbs and flows, I got tired of getting laid off. And I said, since I've been selling real estate for the bank forever, why don't I try to sell it for myself? Let me see if I can do this. So that's what basically propelled me
Yeah.
into real estate.
Okay. And now you're in luxury real estate. Can you differentiate for everybody the difference between luxury real estate and what we know as basic real estate, I guess?
Well, I sell it all, big, small, little, whatever. I sell it all. I'm in Southern California, so our prices probably seem luxury to most of
Okay.
everybody outside of California who are in like middle America and maybe small America, just because, you know, it you got to pay for this sunshine, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, getting into real estate when you're new, you usually are working with buyers. Sometimes you're working with sellers too, but mainly buyers. As you build your book of business and as you continue to network and meet new people, you get into different price points. You're no longer necessarily a new agent. You're helping people sell their maybe first or second property and move up to that dream home. And
Yeah.
so moving into that luxury market, I don't just sell luxury homes, but I call it like we have luxury homes and then we kind of have like a middle luxury home because our luxury homes are usually here in the area that I sell. We call it the Inland Empire of Southern California, usually range from about, I would say, 900 upwards into like a little over $1 million,
Okay.
close to 2 million. Some are a little higher than the 2 millions, but very rarely in our area are they above that unless they're just like a mega mansion on a lot of land. So getting into that just happened by way of networking, being in the right places at the right times, and getting to know more and more people who were homeowners versus people who were just newly trying to get their first home.
Okay. Being in the real estate world, can you go into the importance of just understanding the area, what people are looking for, foods, things like that, to be able to sell the area properly to people, and then how do you go and do that as yourself?
So getting into the American Dream TV kind of helped me do that.
Okay. Okay.
But, for one, I sell in an area that I grew up in. So
Wow.
I've lived here pretty much most of my life. I came from Los Angeles. My parents moved us inland when I was, before I even started kindergarten to get us in a better community, better, schools, so on and so forth. And getting us in this area, I've, networked. I went to college here. I went, to all my schools here. Like everything has been pretty
There.
much in what we consider the IE. And the IE is a big area. It encompasses San Bernardino County and Riverside County, which San Bernardino County, anybody who knows has heard, it's one of the biggest counties in America.
Yeah.
Um, and people think San Bernardino, but San Bernardino is a city. And
Yep.
then we have the county, which encompasses like a large amount of cities. So it encompasses like a square mileage of probably over 100 square miles if you just look at the IE. Getting to know the IE is a good thing because you're getting to know, the shops and the restaurants. So then doing the American Dream TV, I focused on highlighting some of our small businesses, our small restaurants, just some of our mom and pop type businesses. And I've even utilized my, platform to showcase charities in the area, so that helps people understand, okay, what are these schools like in this? And, I always focus on, the areas. People always want to know about the schools, of course, if they're families and they have kids. And even if you don't have kids, you have people who are like, I don't care about the schools, but you still do because it increases your property value. The better the schools, the better your property value, the more desirable your area is, the safer it is, the better parks. So we're talking about your Temecula's, your Mariettas. Those are like some of our better areas here in the IE, your Rancho Cucamonga, your Uplands, your Altalomas. Those are like the prime areas that so many people want to move into. So trying to get to know those areas and being able to share that with people. Claremont is another one that's like a big area that people love to, you know, raise families in and move into. So, and those are our more luxury areas as well.
I love that. When you were just talking about it, you're working with sellers, you're working with buyers and all this. How do you like to cultivate and maintain these relationships with clients, with sellers, with buyers, all of these different categories? What's your take on all of it?
So for me to maintain good relationships, I try and stay in contact with them. I've had clients who I was talking to 2 and 3 years who told me, I want to sell my house. I want to buy a big home. I'm trying to upgrade. And it might have been 2 or 3 years before they were ready. The goal is to build relationships with people. And I think that's sometimes where a lot of new realtors miss the mark. People watch these shows, they watch, the selling sunsets, they sell the $1 million listings. People think like this is where it's at. I'm going to
Yeah.
get my real estate license. And you got to crawl before you walk with anything. So, um, when what do you call it, first started, doing some of this, it was, how do I maintain these relationships with people? So I started doing newsletters. I started doing magazines that my clients get, like my top clients get every, other month. I started sending gifts that my clients get every quarter. So I have things that they will periodically get from me
Okay.
to keep me top of mind and keep them remembering, oh, we got to call Myiesha. But it's not always about the money. Sometimes it's just about calling and checking in with them too. Like they don't always just want a gift, they want to hear from you. So,
Yes.
to text them, to call them, to, send them a happy birthday message, a card,
Yeah.
things like that keep people coming back, and not only coming back, but referring their kids, referring their family,
Yeah.
referring their neighbors. There's been people who have been like, oh, my neighbor needs to sell their house across the street too. Bam, bam, bam. I'm
Yep.
like, okay.
Yep. Word of mouth is some of the big, I mean, we've heard it for years, but word of mouth is the biggest business driver out there in the world. and it is so important. But I love that you have these little touches that you are giving everybody and keeping you top of mind whenever they're thinking about their next step.
Absolutely.
I do want to hop into you hosting American Dream TV. How did this come to be? How did you become involved with this in the first place?
So, a realtor friend of mine reached out to me. She's in a completely different market, different state. We've been following each other for a few years, and she had reached out to me a few times for help with marketing and different stuff. We shared a few ideas back and forth over the years. Well, she started doing American Dream TV.
Okay.
I didn't even ask her about it. I was just like, oh, good. Like, I didn't know how the opportunity came about, but I was happy for her. About a year after was doing it, she reached out to me and said, "Hey, are you interested in doing this? They really like to focus on the top agents in areas and agents who are doing business, at a
Yeah.
high level. Are you interested?" So I said, yes. The producers called me. We spoke. We discussed like what this opportunity would look like for me. And I was like, I'll give it a shot. What do I have to lose? And so, I started doing it. First I thought, oh, this will be easy. Everybody's going to want their business highlighted. And no, they didn't. Um, so, you really have to get out there and find out like who wants your help, who wants their businesses highlighted. And then, you may not want to highlight everybody and everybody's stuff. So, it
Yep.
was really like a fact finding thing. So it's just an added thing that I love doing, but it helps me get out into the community more, get my name out there. Then those business owners are like shouting me out and their
Yeah.
stuff. So it all works.
Good. Have you enjoyed the hosting side of things? Did you think you wouldn't like it or anything like that?
I have enjoyed it. Everybody is different.
Yeah.
Some people are more talkative. Some people you really have to pull some stuff out of. So the very first one that I did, the owner didn't want to be on camera at all. So she was like, "You can film whatever you want, just don't film me." So
Good.
we ended up using a couple of her. It was at a restaurant called Padua Pasta Makers in Upland, California, and great spot, like just great spot. So many people love the spot, and a couple of her girls who worked there, showed me how to do pasta. One was making like
Love
some
that.
chicken parmesan or something like that. So one of them, her head baker, showed me like, this is like all the different goodies that I bake every day, the cookies and all that, the breads. So it was just so fun and so lovely. So that was definitely something that, I think that was the only one that I was shocked. Like, you don't want to talk, but she really didn't have to because the place kind of speaks for itself and it's full all the time.
That makes
Yeah.
you feel good about the community too, and that people are
Yeah,
coming in and supporting each other too. That's the beautiful thing.
absolutely.
Has there, on top of that one, has there been any other memorable moments or highlights that you've experienced with this from small businesses and the community leaders?
So I did one recently with a business called Nifty Package Co.
Okay.
The owner of it, her story is just so uplifting and amazing. She started this business after she lost her husband to cancer. She had been a pastor's wife. She had, had basically been a stay-at-home mom, but she also was running a nonprofit. So when her husband passed, it was kind of like I still have to support my kids. They're, in school still. So she went from that into, one of her sons said, "Remember when you used to make gift baskets and sell them?" So she started doing that. It went into somebody saying, "Do you wrap gifts?" And she created basically like a mobile gift wrapping service or company. And now she employs several, people across America, like over 50 people, 50 or 60 people work for her company, and she has licensing agreements with them. It's so cool. But on top of that, it went so much further to where she started becoming like um the gift wrapper for some of the celebrities. She's wrapped stuff for the Kardashians, the Biebers. Um, she wrapped stuff for Versace, for she did something for the Oscars this year. So just like her stuff has gotten her into doors that she never could have even imagined. And she's just such a sweet lady.
Yep.
Just, I mean, just humble, friendly, just
Yep.
like you want to pour into her business and say, okay, what can I send to somebody that you guys can make for me? And it's like made with so much thought, so much
Yep.
just love. So that was probably one of my most memorable, and because we did a wrapping segment, she showed me how to wrap a gift, and I am not a gift wrapper. I told her, I said, my husband wraps the gifts at Christmas time. I don't do them. If you want me to wrap them, it's going to be in a bag with some tissue paper. That's the best I can do.
Yes.
And I swear it took us almost 30 minutes to wrap one box.
My dad is that in our family. He's like this math guy. He loves all the angles and everything, and his boxes are like these clean cut wrapped. And I'm over here, and I get to a certain point, I'm like flipping corners. I'm like, I don't even care anymore what this looks like. This is what you're getting. Merry Christmas. Enjoy. So I am
Yeah,
right there
pretty
with
much.
you. I'm right there.
So that segment, it was so funny because she was like, okay, she was so patient with me because I was like, I'd have given up by now. I wanted to give up the whole time. The whole time when she said we're gonna wrap a gift, I was like, well, maybe we shouldn't. And she's like, we're going through this. We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah, it was so much fun though.
I love that. I love that story. That's beautiful. When you are thinking about putting together a show, what is the process that you guys are working through? You said you were trying to find outreach and doing all these things to see who wants to be on the show. What does that kind of process look like when you're trying to put an episode together?
Well, now that I have like a publicist, she helps me find people. So that's been like beautiful, working well. Once we connect with somebody, I'll have like an initial meeting with them. And then from there, I really want to know like what do you want the people to know? What do you want showcased about your business? And then I kind of formulate like my questionnaire from there.
Okay.
So when I'm interviewing them, I don't like sit there with a paper or anything. I kind of like have it in my head, but I'll go through it and I'll say, okay, this is how we start. I always want to know, like, how did you start this business? What, brought you here? And then, have them just share, anything that they that they want
Yeah.
the community to know. Like I had one woman, I did her wine bar called Wine Now in Rancho Cucamonga, and she is like a woman-owned wine lounge in our city.
Okay.
And she's like, not only am I woman, like I'm the only woman-owned wine lounge here, I'm a black-owned business here. So that was like huge because there's nobody who looks like her who's running a wine lounge in the area. She has so many different fun things that go on, from karaoke to charcuterie board making to, Friday nights have kind of been taken over by a group of men who all come in, and it's like a nice group of men, but they come, they watch the football games, they have, they'll play games, they hang out. So she's just really created a nice community for people to come in, have a glass of wine,
Yeah.
a, a thing of beer or something, and just hang out. So like stories like that are just so inspiring to me. And I really she wanted me to focus on the fact that I'm the only woman owned wine lounge here. And not only that, I sell a lot of diverse wines. So she had wines from South Africa,
Oh,
she had wines from Argentina, from all these different regions that she showcases, that she's like, you're not going to necessarily find in the grocery store, you're not going to find at other wine lounges or bars. So, yeah, that's
that's cool.
pretty much how I put it together.
Okay. Is there some place that you haven't done yet that you've got your eye on or that you just ultimately really want to do?
So, right now, I do have my eye on something, but
You
I
don't
don't
have to
know if I should
spoil.
say it out loud.
Don't spoil. You don't have to spoil. We'll keep our eyes
Um,
peeled.
for me, I would love to do like a concert or
Mm,
something that somebody is having, whether it be a concert, a comedy something, somewhere where I can like meet some, local celebrities or somebody and kind
yeah.
of highlight that. But the one that I really have my eye on right now is doing a segment regarding all this AI stuff.
Okay.
So we're working on getting an interview together with somebody
Okay.
big right now, and hopefully it will work out. We'll see.
I love it. I love it. I love to hear that. It's such a big topic right now and something that there's so many different perspectives on. And so I've been enjoying
Yeah,
all these different conversations about AI and hearing where everybody's coming from. It's super interesting.
it definitely is interesting, scary, intriguing.
Yes.
Um,
All of it.
all the things. I'm like, it's touching everybody in
Yes.
different ways. So yeah.
Absolutely. I want to hop to your podcast, Black Voices in Real Estate. Why, on top of all the things that you are doing already, why go add this to your repertoire? Why go start this podcast?
I don't even know why I get myself involved in some of these extra things sometimes. And then people come to me, they're like, "Are you still selling houses?" I'm like, "Yes, that's what I do." But a lot of it just really has to do with speaking to the community of new agents, the community of just people who want to get into real estate who look like us. There's only out of all of the realtors in the United States, only 6% of us are African American.
Okay.
So that's kind of, jarring, surprising,
Yeah.
sometimes frustrating. This business is a hard business to be in, period. Just
Yep.
being a realtor. The success rate of real estate, I've been in it 10 years. And I remember when I was newly licensed and I was excited and I was like, yeah, I'm going to sell some houses. And I was like, but how do we get the clients? And people were like, oh, you got to go out and find them yourself. And I was like, whoa. So the success rate is so low. It's like, out of everybody who gets their license, they're like, maybe 15 to 20% are really going to survive and survive at a good level,
Wow.
like, and can make this like their bread and butter. So
Yep.
the fact that I've been able to do that as a Black woman has been just, it means a lot, not
Yeah.
only to me but to my community. A lot of people look up to me. A lot of people come to me for mentorship. So I mentor a lot of new agents within our brokerage. I'm also, a team lead. So I have like, a couple people on my team who I mentor and also help, try to help them build their businesses. So it was really something that I wanted to take on to speak to just us and talk to us about what it's like to be in this business. A lot of people, you'll talk to a lot of people, and, like our counterparts, 70% of realtors are white versus 6% are Black.
Yep.
Like representation really matters. And find that out when you start talking to people about their experience, their process of buying a property. And people sometimes, unfortunately, in our world, in our country, they listen to the people who look like them.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Yep.
I don't think that that's a bad thing, but I think that our voices need to be heard. And so that's what made me start it, to make sure that my voice is heard, to make sure that I'm here to represent my community. Only 46% of African American families are homeowners versus 76, 78% of our counterparts. Again, like people will say, like, racism has, it's not here anymore. Everybody's fine. But it's like, it's not about the racism piece. It's about, we started so far behind our counterparts.
Yeah.
So home ownership was not even a thing for
Right.
our families until like the 60s and 70s. And then when it became a thing, we were redlined into certain areas. Those areas were not equitable as the same at the same rates as our counterparts, um, you know, neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They came through, they put streets, roads, freeways, everything through our neighborhoods where they went to our counterparts' neighborhoods and they built streams and rivers and
Yeah.
trees and made them healthier. So there's, things that, yes, that was done. And yes, we are trying to move from that in this country and we're trying to move the needle forward. But while we're moving it forward, I think it's important that people know the historical reasons why we're here
Yep.
and also understand like you can still do, you still can be a part of this American dream that so many people wish to, attain. So that's some of the reasons, one of the biggest reasons I think why, there's still a lot of discriminatory things that happen within this business. You have appraisal biases that still happen. You hear about families who have to change the photos out from a black family to a white family, and then the appraisal comes in $100,000 higher. I've dealt with an appraisal bias with a client before. Appraisal came in super low, under where other houses in the same neighborhood were selling. Appraiser refused to change it. My client put in all kinds of complaints. Nothing happened. And then we ended up getting a new appraisal finally, and it came in where it should have been the
Okay.
whole time. So, it's just things like that that I think still need to be addressed. You go to show homes and you still have people who won't let you in those houses to see those houses
Yeah.
because of what we look like. I've had an agent say, my client loves your client's offer. I'm going to, sending it over to him to sign. Next thing I know, she's calling me. He says he really wants a different family for this house. And to be able to approve these things is so hard because it becomes he says, she says, because nobody
Yeah.
with good sense is going to ever put this in writing. It's always going to be a conversation. And then me going to cry wolf is going to look stupid when the other party says that didn't happen. That's not how that happened. So, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest reasons why I started this podcast. I just think it needs to be said. I think it's time. I've ran from these conversations for a long time because they're uncomfortable
They
and
are.
I don't want it to negatively affect my business.
Yeah.
So I'm always cautious of what I say, what I post, how it's said. But I think it's time.
I give you a round of applause because I think it's so important, especially as we continue to move today in society and people are like, no, these things aren't happening. They sure are definitely still happening. And I think it's important to make sure that that information, even if it's from your perspective of real estate and what you're seeing in the community, it's still so important to get those messages out to everybody because it needs to have a light shown on it. Um, to make sure that everybody still realizes the reality that we are living in today.
Absolutely.
I want to just hit you with how in the world, with your thriving real estate career, your TV hosting role, and a podcast, how do you balance and juggle all these different things and still be able to and still be able to sit down and enjoy yourself and enjoy life at the end of the day?
It's by the grace of God, I would say, for one. For two, I have my husband and I, we work as a team.
Love it.
If I can't do it, he's going to get it done. If he can't do it, I'm going to get it done. So we work very well together. I have his support, which helps me. You really need a good support system when you are running a business. Not only that, I just have one son,
Yeah.
but I've been successful at being able to really work my business around him and his little schedule, his school schedule,
Yeah.
his vacation schedules from school. So when he's off from school, we'll take family vacations. I have, people who assist me within my business. I have a great transaction coordinator who helps me coordinate my transactions anytime we're in escrow and ready to close deals. I have an assistant who helps me virtually with a lot of my social media management and helping me
Mm.
like push out, um, my what do you call it, newsletters and stuff
Okay.
like that. So I do have help. I can't do it all by myself.
Yes.
But yeah, it's definitely sometimes I'm like, I'm doing a lot here. I need to like slow my roll. Calm down. You can't save the world all by
No.
yourself.
No, you cannot. And it's hard. And I have been a one woman show, and sometimes I'm like, mercy, I don't know what I can, if I can do anything else today without blowing my head off. Um, I'm like, there's only so much we can do in a 24-hour day, and I'd really like to at least be able to move that down to 12 hours so I can have some sleep and some peace.
Yes.
It'd be nice. Yeah. I do just want to pick your mind and see what advice would you give someone that's looking to get into real estate and is, really interested in this area.
For me, I encourage people to truly do your research,
Okay.
educate yourself, make sure you have a good group of people to mentor you and help you. Truly, truly, truly be realistic.
Yeah.
Understand that this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's not something that you're going to jump into and make quick money,
Yep.
but it's definitely something that you can get into and make a beautiful living.
Yep.
There's no limit on how much money you can make. There's no limit on how many clients you can help. It's just, can you manage it all?
Yep.
And so just trying to make sure that you're able to manage what you've set your mind to.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask for help, don't be afraid to build a team, to delegate stuff, because you're not going to be able to control every aspect of everything at first. When you got like one or two deals, sure. When you got 6 and 7 properties in escrow at one time, you realize like, I need a lot of help right now.
Yep.
So just be willing to be coachable, be teachable. Um and just come into this with a open mind is what I would tell somebody new trying to get into real estate.
I love that. I mean, you've called it out quite a few times, the be realistic part of real estate, because I think real estate has, like you had said earlier, Selling Sunset and all these Netflix shows that are out there today give this perception of like, get into real estate and you will immediately have the success and you will be able to
Right.
make money immediately. I love that you point that out, that be realistic, because it is a lot of hard work, and you've got, like you have done, get your name out there and be able to get into the community.
Yeah, and you have to realize honestly, like some of these people are paying for likes, they're paying for follows, they're paying for their social medias to blow up. These
Yeah.
people are not just becoming like, everybody gets in this business now, they want to be content creators. They haven't even sold one property. You look at some of these shows, and I'm not going to say that these women or these men are not
Yeah.
selling real estate,
Yep.
but the way that they're depicting it on the show, you have to always remember this is a scripted show. It's
Yeah.
a 30 minute to an hour long show with commercials. So they have to jam pack stuff. It's a reality show. It's not reality,
Yeah.
it's a form and an edited version
Yep.
of someone's reality. You got people renting vehicles, renting houses to take pictures in, renting vehicles to drive in and act like they're all driving Bentleys and Porsches. That is just not if you're getting into it for that, you're getting into it for the wrong reason.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I'm not saying
Absolutely.
that that stuff can't happen,
No.
but just talk to the average realtor. That's
Yeah.
not reality. You got people like thinking, I'm going to jump in this, I'm going to go to a Lakers game, and LeBron James is going to ask me to sell his house for him. And I'm like, do you know these people have a team of people, just like I just finished talking about. I got a little team, little
Yeah,
small team who's helping me accomplish all this stuff. These people have huge teams of people who
yeah,
help them do these things.
absolutely.
Don't think that your little real estate license is automatically going to gift you the opportunity to
Love
help
it.
LeBron sell his house. Can you even afford to sell his house? Like it's all these questions that come about because can you afford to market it? Can you afford to get it photographed? Can you afford all of these things? Like, so pace yourself, be realistic, be reasonable,
Love it.
and stay in your lane of what you can do. And
Yes.
as you grow, yes, you'll be able to afford more of that stuff. Yes, you'll be able to do that stuff. But, you got to start somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I do just want to ask you this last question of just what continues to drive your passion and your love for real estate, for being a podcast host, for being the host of your TV show.
My family, my husband, my son, they're like my driving force. They're my why. My husband, I tell everybody all the time, I could not do what I do without him. I'm like, he's the one who keeps the benefits, who has the W-2 job, who's keeping us, stable when real estate may not be as stable.
Yep.
So, there's ebbs and flows to everything in life, to business. People have to realize that even your top agents have down times.
Yes.
So, having a team and the support and the love from people who truly love you and want to see you succeed, and they are your driving force. Those are, I do it for them because I'm just like, listen, who else am I going to do it for? I do it for myself. I do it for them because it gives me fulfillment. It gives me satisfaction. I know that this is my purpose.
Yeah.
So those are the things that keep me going. Also, just my clients, all the clients who trust me and who choose to work with me because everybody has a choice. um, Most people know at least 5 to 7 realtors. So when they choose to call me, I'm always honored. I'm always thankful. It goes without saying that they are also part of that driving force. Just, my clientele along with my family. And then on top of that, just I'm driven by God, knowing that this is what I think He would have me to do at this time in my life. I pray all the time, God, bring the people in my life who you want me to help. So that way, when somebody is like, aren't you upset that, your sister or your brother or your cousin went out and bought a house? They didn't use you. I'm like, I'm not upset because God brought the people that He wants me to help directly to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to fumble the ball when He brings those people to me. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do because that's who He wants me to help versus chasing after people who are like, trying to work with somebody else. There's a reason that they're supposed to work with who they're
Yes.
working with as well.
Yep.
So those are just the main things that really truly drive me and keep me going. Keep me, you know, I try to stay positive about being an entrepreneur and a business owner every day. Anybody who's an entrepreneur has to know that mindset is everything. So
Absolutely. I love I say all the time, I'm like, one door opens, God open that door, and you are meant to walk through that door. And I mean, we've heard it for years. One door closes, another one opens, but
absolutely.
he's leading in his way, and he's telling us what he wants us to do and where we're supposed to go. So amen to what you said. I think that's beautiful, and I appreciate you sharing your why with me. I love that so much.
Of course, of course. I appreciate you having me and just allowing me to share my story and why I do what I do.
Yeah, I love it. I can't thank you enough for joining me. And I'm so excited to see where your podcast goes and the stories and the conversations that you unravel there and everything that you're going to continue to do with the TV show as well. I'm so enjoying it and I can't wait to continue watching.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Myiesha Majors. I will have all of her information down below, and you guys can go take a listen to her podcast. But just thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, I will see you guys back here next time. Bye, y'all.